It was just another cold Friday morning when Laura, exhausted from errands, curled up in bed and decided to check the baby monitor footage for a laugh. Her husband Tony had been watching their daughter Mia that afternoon, and with a toddler like Mia, something funny always happened. But as she hit play, she didn't laugh. She froze, then cried. By the end of the video, her entire chest ached, not from sadness, but from a flood of emotions too big to name. That clip of Tony and Mia would soon go viral, tugging at the heartstrings of strangers around the world. But what no one saw behind the sweet moment was a storm the family barely survived. The camera footage showed Tony walking into Mia's room after she'd woken up crying. Instead of picking her up and soothing her back to sleep, he brought her into the living room, sat her gently on the floor, and turned on the music. What he did next stunned Laura. Tony, stoic, serious Tony, began dancing. And not just swaying. We're talking full-on silly, floppy-limbed dad dancing, the kind of moves that make toddlers laugh and moms fall in love all over again. At first, Mia just stared, confused. Then she burst into giggles. But the most heart-melting part, she stood up and started copying her dad's moves. Side by side, they danced, laughing, spinning, hugging, until her cries turned to joy. Laura couldn't hold back her tears, because just 2 weeks ago, she thought this family was over for good. Tony came home early that day. No warning, no text, just walked through the door, and something was off. "Darling, you're home early," Laura smiled. But Tony didn't answer. His eyes were bloodshot. He smelled like alcohol. Tony, the man who wouldn't even toast with champagne. His tie was missing, his hair disheveled, and when Laura tried to hug him, he pulled away. Instead, he walked straight into Mia's room. He stood over her crib, whispered, "You're mine. I love you so much. I can't do without you." Tears streamed down his cheeks. Laura was shaken. Tony never acted like this. That night, he barely ate, tossed and turned in bed. And then, around 2 a.m., he woke up screaming Mia's name. That was the breaking point. Laura sat up and snapped, "You've been acting strange all night. What is going on?" Tony finally spoke. "Charles came to my office yesterday," he said. "He claims Mia isn't mine. He says she's his." Laura felt like the wind had been knocked out of her. Charles, her ex, her first love, the man she thought she'd left in the past. Laura stammered, "Charles is lying." "You have to trust me." Tony's voice cracked. "I want to, but help me understand." He asked for her phone. She handed it over. Tony scrolled through her call logs, dozens of recent calls with Charles. "Why didn't you tell me?" he whispered. "I didn't want to distract you," she said. "You've been fighting for a promotion, and I didn't want to cause drama. Charles just kept calling. I told him to stay away." Tony got up, opened his closet, and pulled out a bag he'd taken to work. From inside it, he pulled an envelope. "I want to believe you, but then, explain this." He emptied it on the bed. Photos of Laura and Charles at a hotel, dated a week before their wedding. Laura collapsed onto the floor. Through tears, she explained. Charles had threatened to hurt himself if she didn't meet him. They talked at the hotel bar, and when he said he felt dizzy, she helped him to a room. Nothing happened, she swore. She'd gone there feeling guilty, trying to make peace, but she left knowing she loved only Tony. Tony didn't scream, didn't throw things. He just sat on the bed and cried. Then, in a trembling voice, he said, "I love you, Laura, but I need to know the truth." He agreed to take a DNA test. The days that followed were quiet, awkward, like living with a ghost of the life they once had. Tony was kind but distant. Laura kept apologizing, but the guilt clung to her like smoke. Still, Tony kissed Mia's forehead every morning. Still, he read her bedtime stories. Still, he stayed. "I don't care what the results say," he told Laura one night. "She's my daughter. I've loved her since day one. That doesn't change." But Laura knew that for his heart to fully heal, he needed the truth. A week later, the email came. They were watching TV when Tony's phone buzzed. He read it and dropped the phone. Tears welled in his eyes. Laura didn't ask. She knew. She pulled him into a kiss so full of relief and love, it felt like their first. Tony was Mia's father, biologically, emotionally, every way that counted. But that wasn't the most beautiful part of this story. The very next day, Laura stepped out for groceries, gone for less than an hour. That's when the dance happened. That's when Tony, completely alone with Mia, picked her up from her crib, played music, and danced like a fool to make his daughter laugh. That's what Laura saw on the camera that night. That's what made her cry all over again, not from fear or shame or pain, but because even in doubt, Tony never let go of love. He didn't wait for a DNA test to be a father. He just was one. And Mia? She didn't care about the drama. She just wanted her daddy to dance with her. The next week, the couple filed a restraining order against Charles. They were done with the past. They had a family to protect. Laura later said, "Tony taught me what it means to love, even when it hurts. He reminded me that fatherhood isn't just about blood. It's about presence, patience, and choosing to show up no matter what." And the video, it spread like wildfire. People commented, "This made me cry. I'll never watch it again." I didn't expect that twist. What a man. Love like this is rare. Protect it. Because sometimes the most powerful moments happen when no one's watching, except a baby monitor. What do you think? Can love really conquer all, even betrayal, doubt, and fear? Let me know in the comments. If this story moved you even a little, hit that like button, subscribe for more powerful true stories, and as always, stay inspired. Until next time.